There's a psychiatric ward in France where a woman sits perfectly still, refusing to eat, refusing to drink, waiting patiently for something that will never come. She's waiting to finish dying. Because in her mind, she's already dead. She can smell her own flesh rotting. She can feel the decay spreading through her organs. And no amount of evidence, no mirror, no test, no pleading from loved ones can convince her otherwise. This is Cotard's delusion, the walking dead syndrome. Not a feeling, not a fear, a certainty. You are dead. Your heart isn't really beating. That's just residual electrical impulses in dead tissue. Your thoughts aren't real thoughts. They're the final firing of dying neurons in a corpse that doesn't know it's finished yet. You look in the mirror and see a thing that's pretending to be alive. You touch your skin and feel cold meat. You smell your own decomposition. This isn't depression. This isn't suicidal ideation. This is something far stranger and far more terrifying. People with Cotard's delusion don't want to die. They believe they already are dead. The condition was first documented in 1880 by French neurologist Jules Cotard. He described a patient who claimed she had no brain, no nerves, no chest, no stomach, no intestines. She said she was nothing more than a decomposing corpse. She insisted she didn't need to eat because dead people don't need food. She starved to death, convinced the entire time that she was already gone. But here's what makes this truly nightmarish. From the patient's perspective, they're not delusional at all. They have what they perceive as concrete evidence of their death. They can smell themselves rotting. They feel their organs shutting down. Some report that food tastes like ash in their mouths because dead tongues can't taste. Others say their blood has stopped flowing, that they can feel the stillness in their veins. One patient in the 1990s insisted that he had died in a motorcycle accident weeks earlier. He was convinced that what everyone else saw as recovery was actually his corpse being reanimated. He could describe the exact moment of his death. He remembered his soul leaving his body. Everything after that, he said, was just a cruel epilogue. A zombie's unwanted consciousness trapped in dead flesh. Another patient believed she had died and gone to hell. But hell, in her case, wasn't fire and demons. Hell was being forced to continue existing in a rotting body for eternity. Never allowed the peace of true death. Never allowed to stop. The delusion often comes with a complete denial of existence itself. Patients will insist they don't exist at all. Not that they're dead. That they never were. They're walking paradoxes. I think, therefore I am not. Some will deny that their family members exist, that the hospital exists, that the entire world exists. They're trapped in a solipsistic nightmare where they're the only thing in all reality, and that one thing is a corpse. The psychological implications are staggering. What does it feel like to be absolutely certain you're dead? Do you feel pain? Most patients say no. Pain is for the living. Do you feel fear? Some do. The fear being trapped in death forever. Others feel nothing at all. Just a vast, empty certainty. One of the most disturbing cases involved a patient in Scotland who tried to kill himself because he was frustrated that he couldn't die. He was already dead, he reasoned. So why wouldn't his body stop functioning? He survived the attempt, which only reinforces delusion. See? He couldn't die because he was already dead. Another patient sought out morgues and cemeteries, claiming those were the only places where she felt at home. She would lie down among the graves and feel, for the first time, a sense of belonging. The living world felt foreign to her. Hostile. Wrong. Treatment is difficult because how do you convince someone they're alive when they have what they perceive as sensory proof of their death? How do you argue with someone's reality when that reality is absolute to them? Antipsychotic medications sometimes work. Electroconvulsive therapy has shown success in severe cases. But many patients resist treatment. Why would a corpse need medicine? Why would the dead need to be cured? The underlying cause remains partially mysterious. Brain scans of Cotard patients show something deeply unsettling. The parts of the brain responsible for facial recognition and emotional response show decreased activity. Essentially, when these patients look in a mirror, their brain doesn't recognize the person staring back. More disturbing, the brain doesn't produce the normal emotional response to seeing their own face. No connection, no recognition, no life. Imagine looking at yourself and feeling nothing. No recognition. No, that's me, just a stranger. A dead stranger. Your brain literally doesn't recognize you as alive. Some researchers believe Cotard's delusion might be related to Cotard delusion, where patients believe their loved ones have been replaced by identical imposters. Both involve a disconnect between recognition and emotional response. But Cotard's takes it further. You're not just an imposter to yourself. You're a corpse. The condition can last days, months, or years. Some patients recover completely and can't understand how they ever believed such an impossible thing. Others never recover. They die still convinced they've been dead all along. There's a case from Japan of a woman who lived with a delusion for over a decade. She went through her daily routines like an automaton. She ate only when forced, spoke only when absolutely necessary. When asked why she continued living if she was dead, she replied, "Even corpses have habits." Perhaps the most chilling aspect is how the delusion affects the patient's concept of time. Many report that time has stopped, because time is for the living, for those with futures. The dead exist in an eternal, frozen present, every moment exactly like the last, forever. One recovered patient described it as being trapped in a photograph of yourself. You can see the world moving around you, changing, continuing. But you're fixed, static, already gone. Modern cases still appear regularly. The exact prevalence is unknown because many patients refuse treatment or are misdiagnosed with severe depression. But psychiatric literature suggests hundreds, possibly thousands of people are living right now convinced they're dead, walking among us, going through the motions of life while being absolutely certain it's all a lie. Think about that. Right now, someone might be sitting across from you on the bus, standing behind you in line, walking past you on the street, and they believe they're a corpse. They believe you might be one too. Another dead thing pretending to be alive. Maybe we're all dead and just don't know it yet. That's what the delusion whispers. That's what it suggests. What if you're wrong about being alive? What if this feeling of existence is just a final firing of neurons? What if you died hours ago, days ago, and your brain is just running through its last subroutines before the final shutdown? How would you know? How could you tell? The patients with Cotard's delusion would say you can't. They would say they knew once, when the truth finally revealed itself, when they finally recognized the corpse in the mirror. So tonight, when you look at your reflection, be grateful for that flash of recognition, that feeling of "that's me." Be grateful your brain still produces the electrical signals that confirm you're real, you're here, you're alive. Because somewhere, someone is looking in the same mirror and seeing only death staring back, smelling only decay, feeling only the absolute certainty that they ended long ago, and they're still walking, still moving, still waiting to finish dying. The walking dead are real. They just don't know they're still alive.